How
Did
does
you
it
get a hair?
feel to be the oldest and the only one still in school? I just have to ask. Does it feel great, accomplished, cool?
You're really mean. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with school.
August, right?
Did you get a haircut?
I got layers
Yeah.
yesterday.
After this,
I
we
like
sent
it.
like better pictures, like more close up. That or I'm blind. One of the two.
Let's see. I also haven't showered today, so maybe I'll take pictures after.
You look like that when you don't shower. Like, okay, rough life.
She's basically a model.
I haven't showered today.
I woke
Oh
up
my
like
God.
this. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to review Verity. We're gonna do spoiler free. That or do you guys want to do spoilers? I don't care.
We have to.
Do
We
like
have
spoiler free for like 2 minutes. And
Okay.
then
2 minutes spoiler free, and the rest will have spoilers. Andrea gets to kick us off with our synopsis because she picked this one for book club.
So it's going to be a quick synopsis because there's really not much you can say without going into detail. But there's an author who's writing a series of books and she gets in an accident and she's basically a vegetable. So her company doesn't want to end the series, so she'd written like 3 or 4 of them and they wanted to finish out the series. So they found another author who was a similar writing style to her, and then they hired her to finish the books. Well, in order to finish the books, this girl has to kind of like figure out what the main character Verity was like. So they thought the easiest way to do this was to have her move into their house where she lives with her husband and kid and a nurse. So this girl moves in, like goes through all her like books and yeah, so she kind of like tries to get into her lifestyle. So she reads all these books that she had already wrote, like kind of goes through all her files and tries to find like some notes about what she was going to write about. And then in doing that, she finds an interesting like biography written that leads to some interesting things. And that's kind of where the story takes off and gets real crazy.
So let's do ratings before we do spoilers. So Andrea, what did you rate it?
I did rate this a B because it was very like, it was so crazy. I would not like recommend this to anyone, I don't think, unless I knew this person like very well. Like you guys, yeah, I'd be like, hey, this is crazy. You got to read this. But, like not to some general person that I just like randomly know. But it was very intriguing and I like had no idea what was going on like most of the time. And it was very like mysterious. So I was intrigued to figure out what happened. I will say I did not like any of the characters in this book. They're all horrible, horrible people, but it was very interesting to me.
Okay.
So B.
B. Liz, what did you rate it?
B plus for similar reason. It was crazy, but I hated all the characters. The husband was just creeps me out so much. So he's the main reason it's not an A because he's creepy.
Okay. Stephen?
A plus, highest rating you can give a book. A plus.
You're gonna need some reasons.
I live my day-to-day life and it's very boring. I wake up, I go to work, I do write some things down, I read some papers, I come back home, I sit in bed, I watch TV and I go to sleep. And the one thing I want in a book,
Steve's from 1984.
the one thing I want to do is when I sit and read a book, I want to read something scandalous, mysterious, and crazy. And these characters were all insane and crazy and delusional. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. And it just was colorful, well done, interesting. And I like the fact that they're all horrible people. And I thought I it was something different from the day-to-day life. It was something I could come back. This is the first book I've like actually like binged and like read like immediately afterwards, and I really enjoyed it.
I love that. Okay, Kelly.
I'm with Steve on this one. I'll give it an A. Andrew and I apparently lead very different lifestyles. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. I gotta recommend this to random people. I recommended it to like multiple patients. I did preface it and I was like, hey, don't come back and like talk to me about like it if you're upset. Like I was like, don't come back and bug me about it. I hated all the characters too. Like there wasn't one that I like sympathized with. I was like, all these people, like these people all belong together. For the purpose of a book club and like to entertain, it did that. I think I like you would start the reading that was assigned and then it felt like one page and it was done. I was like, oh, come on, Madeline, why'd you stop there? And then I think there was a lot of discussion had, whereas like sometimes we'll pick books and we're all like on the same page of like, no, no, no. And this one was like, everyone had a different like guess of what was coming and none of us got it right. And then, yeah, I recommended it to multiple people already and I've heard a lot of different people read it and they all like it, but I hated every character, but for the purpose of entertainment, I'd rather read about horrible people than know them or be them. So
Valid point. I agree with Kelly. It is an amazing book club book. It definitely spiced things up. I rated it, and this is a very rare rating for me. I rated an A-, even though I'm not going to read it again, because I feel like I already read it and I don't really need to read it again. I know the ending and whatnot, but I thought it was captivating to where you want to know what happens. And I love the twist at the end. And that's all I'll say because this part is spoiler free. And overall, it made me want to read more books by Colleen Harris, not Colleen Hoover. Although I was a little bummed to find out that this is her first like kind of more dark one. A lot of her other ones are more rom-com chick lit, which is a term I learned recently. But I do hope she writes more in this genre, this style of writing. So let's do spoilers now. Okay, who here, I just have to ask first off, who here thinks that Verity, that the letter at the end was truthful or not?
Yes.
No.
okay, so we either believe manuscript Verity or letter Verity.
Yes, correct.
Who's letter?
I'm letter. I believe the letter.
I'm letter.
I
And
did
you two
not
are
believe that
manuscript?
letter. Yeah, I did not believe the letter.
Even after the seaside thing? Andrew, the guy is crazy.
Okay, his wife pretended to be a vegetable for like 3 years. Like
it was not 3 years, was it?
Okay, well, it was a long time to.
Okay, but either way,
pretend
to be like, okay, yeah, fair. 3 days,
like
3
a
years,
week is pretty bad. Like she is a full-time nurse, and people have to like shower and bathe her, and like she went to a lot of extreme, and the things she like thought of, like I'm just like, no, you wouldn't think of that because you have a writer's block. I don't know. I just did not believe the letter.
The whole explanation for writing down the manuscript was to like put herself like to get over writer's block and to try to become a better writer or something and become that person like on paper. I thought that was a bad explanation. It's like not believable that anyone would actually like, who here is going to start writing diaries of absolute insanity and craziness and pretending to be someone that they're not just to overcome a writer's block.
Now I want to do it.
Like envisioning killing their children. That's kind of weird.
I guess the part of the letter that I believed was the immense fear of Jeremy and that he was bad too.
Yeah.
But I see your points with the manuscript, and I believe too that she's fucked up and like there's parts of that were true.
Yeah.
But I just believe part of the letter to where like he tried to kill her and that he was not an angel that he was perceived to be throughout the book.
I think what did it for me though was I was kind of like, I don't know, both are bad. Like, I'm not like siding with one because that makes it better. But the part that like turned for me was the ocean thing with Patricia. Like, that was not the only answer, Jeremy. What was she gonna do? Speculate? Like, okay. He was like, it was the only way. And like, was like, murder's the only way. I was like, what? You didn't even try anything else.
So like, what did he think was gonna happen? Like that this lady's gonna be like, yeah, he cheated on his wife. Like, who cares? Like,
that's what I was saying.
Enough
Like,
to like murder someone over.
You wouldn't be the first guy to cheat on your wife because of like a hospital like issue. You know, I mean, come on. You hear about that like all the time.
And then like, what's she gonna tell the wife? The wife is dead. Like,
she's cremated
why
at that.
Yeah, like why did she think that the lady would pose any sort of threat to him? Because
also
she can't tell the wife.
Had an affair.
Yeah,
I was creeped out by Jeremy well before that. When he cuddles the new author who's like been in his house like 2 days that he just met, and he cuddles her all night like that.
Because she was sad. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was so weird.
I was weirded out that he wasn't weirded out by the sleepwalking thing. Remember when she like laid on his wife?
Right.
And he was like, it happens. It was like, what?
Yeah.
That was awkward.
I also was annoyed. What was the author's name? What's her name?
Lauren. Lowen.
Yeah. Lowen. Okay. How creeped out she was by her own sleepwalking bothered me too. That was very dramatic and unnecessary.
And he didn't bat an eye at it. Like, she's like hyperventilating, and he's like, oh yeah. It's like, what?
They like reveal that she stood on a railing for like several hours. I'm like, why would that freak you out? Like,
yeah,
that was her big thing about the whole thing. I was like, that's really weird.
What would be a red flag to me is if I had a guest staying with me and they asked or like were okay with me putting a lock on the door to lock them in at night. I'd be like, go to the Holiday Inn. Go, like, there's a hotel down the way.
And she's like not freaked out when he's like, okay, and he just does it. Like, wouldn't you be like, why this guy's cool with locking people in their bedroom? Doesn't even like.
Also, the first scene in the book was they met each other, hadn't known each other beforehand, and they go into the bathroom together. He walks into the bathroom with her because she's injured, and he locks the door, locking them both in the bathroom without complete strangers, and then watches her undress. And it's like, chill, it's no big deal.
Well, okay, she did just see someone's like head get smashed, and I think she was in shock. I mean, I don't know that I would be the one to take it on. I'd be like, can anyone help this girl? But
locking the door.
Yeah, locking the door. I agree.
First red flag.
Big red flag. Also, I also think it's a red flag or weird if I went to someone's house and they're like, sleep in my wife and I's bed and I'll be in the guest room. Like, that creeps me out too.
Especially when there are bite marks in the headboard. I wouldn't let anyone sleep in that bed.
I was wondering if that's going to be brought up.
I'd be like, hold on, I need to sand something down real quick. There are so many red flags with Jeremy. So many. And honestly, a big red flag for me, and like, I'm not saying bad things don't happen to good people, but somebody that has that much like traumatic stuff in their life, I don't know. I was kind of like, oh, this isn't gonna be good when he like started talking, and I was like, ooh, like this guy's weird.
Something I just thought of to put me more on the manuscript side is that he obviously had some sort of feelings that Verity wasn't paying attention to their second daughter. Mm-hmm. You remember how he had those, he had like brought up to her about how she doesn't like talk to her as much and whatnot. And then the son also confirmed that she had said like, hold your breath before the canoe went over. So that kind of makes me now lean towards manuscript.
Well, also like another thing. So he reads the manuscript, finds out, tries to kill her. So if it wasn't real, why didn't she just pull this letter out of the floor when he found the manuscript?
I think he found the manuscript before the car wreck because he tried to
Yeah.
kill her in the car wreck, remember?
And then she wrote the letter from her like
She wrote
bed.
it after?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it describes like how he put her in the driver's seat and stuff. So it was after the car wreck.
Okay.
I just don't know why she would like Crew, which that kid's gonna be messed up for life too. Why she would like Crew so much better than the girls. I mean,
That kid's already creepy. Remember when the baby's crying, he just throws it out in the front yard and just like
I
acts
find
normal.
Not gonna-
it first
That kind
red
of
flag.
reminded me of something that Andrea would have done when we were younger. I was like, oh, Andrea probably would have done that.
Should lock us in
I thought it
a
was
corn
weird.
crib.
My first red flag with Crew was that he like talks to his mom and she's normal, but he doesn't tell anybody. Like at all. He like knows
Well,
everything
he
and then
accidentally blabs things randomly.
but like he isn't like mom's totally fine. I talk to her all the time. He never like says like, why are you guys acting weird about her? Why is she sitting in a chair like that? Why when you throw a wooden ball at her does she not move? Also the commitment. Somebody get that
Do you-
girl an Emmy. Like, come on.
Do you not think Raleigh would lie for you?
Hell no. He'd rat me out 10 seconds in.
Oh,
you
you would
kidding me?
never be able to do that. You're too
No.
chunky.
I mean, okay, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, God, the commitment. She let some random girl lay on top of her and then pretended like it didn't bother her. Whereas like Dylan's leg might, and it wasn't even Dylan's leg. I thought it was Dylan's leg. I was like, what? And he's like clear over there. And I was like, oh, a pillow fell in a weird, and I was like, oh, okay. But can you imagine like letting some random girl you don't know like sleep on you and just be like, what?
Is my helmet in there?
Little guest appearance. Your voice.
He wants to know where his helmet is. Anyway, I just thought the commitment there was astounding. And then she threw a ball at her. I would have never. Oh, and then she's like, Hunt. I would have been like, hey! Like I wouldn't have been able to like.
Like when Lo got in her face and said she was going to sleep with her husband. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like talking shit to her, and the girl's just like,
And she
I'm like,
just pees her
how?
pants on purpose
how?
to
Who
like
thinks
steal the
that?
husband back.
Insane.
I wonder how long after Colleen Hoover wrote this book that she then released those bonus chapters. I wonder like why she did that because it does muddy the water to what you believe.
I didn't even
Mhm.
read it. I hate the idea of bonus chapters. I don't think they should exist, so I didn't read them.
You didn't
Clearly,
read them?
Steve has never read Sarah J. Maas. There must be
You didn't-
bonus chapters.
You didn't
Wait,
read the bonus chapters?
No, you sent me a link. I glanced over it. I know what happened, but no. You shouldn't write a book and then have some bonus chat. Like the book should be your fully formed idea of the story. And if the story is ambiguous, then it's ambiguous. Why do you need some bonus chapters to help clear it up? Or I'm against
I
it.
don't even want to argue with you because you're so passionate. So you're right.
Yeah.
We support that idea, Steve. Everybody rip their bonus chapter out of their book. Thanks.
Burn them.
Good.
They no longer exist.
Also, are we gonna talk about Lowell? What was her name?
Lowell.
Mean
That's
girl.
That's for a different meeting. Andrea.
What was her name? Lauren?
Laurel?
Lowen.
Laurel.
Lowen?
Lowen. Yeah, the second
I thought you were
author.
talking about Laurel.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, what are you talking about?
How weird she is.
Oh,
She
she-
like steals this woman's husband and
And
is
she-
like,
Then
And
read
then
the
her-
diary.
yeah,
Like-
and then she's like afraid of him. So like he goes and murders this lady in the beach and she's like, well, I don't want him to be mad at me. So she gave him a BJ in the shower to make him feel better about murdering someone. And she's like, good, he'll stay with me now. And I'm like, what?
I don't even think she was like,
What?
he'll stay with me. She's like, he might not murder me.
Yeah, that's what she was like thinking. I would have taken that kid and just gone. Like, what?
I'd been like, going to the store, be back never. Yeah, she's weird too. You read all this stuff about somebody's life, whether like the manuscript is true or the letter, both are equally horrible. And you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna want to be part of this family.
Well,
Yeah.
also how she becomes jealous of the wife after
Oh,
they
yeah.
kill the wife together. And she's still jealous of the things the wife wrote about her sex life with Jeremy. And I'm like,
Yeah, she even bites the headboard to try to like be better than the first wife. And I'm like, this lady is dead. Like, what? Like, what?
Okay, and I don't remember the time frame that this book happens. It's not very long though.
No.
From
it's
when
like a
she
couple weeks.
Yeah, it's not very long. It's concerningly short, the amount of time that this relationship is formed. And like, I don't know, I'd be reading those books and be like, yeah, that contract we signed, never mind. Like, I would have been out so fast.
So there's 3 people killed in this book, right? No, there's 6.
4.
The 2 kids, the mom and the old lady on the beach.
And
I
then
guess I don't know if she was
the
old.
guy in the opening paragraph or in the opening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The bus man.
It's a lot
Oh,
of
yes.
death surrounding one person, Jeremy, to be exact.
And then like even the kids' deaths, like, wasn't he in the bathroom when he was like 2 months ago or something? So like everything happens in a relatively short period of time. And I'm just like, and you're already having a new baby. Like, oh, so weird. It's just weird.
And it wasn't even an accident. She planned it. That's what also kind
Yeah.
of keeps me out. Like she's trying to get hooked onto this family forever.
Yeah, she tried to make an anchor baby or
Mm.
whatever.
Anger.
I don't know if that's the right
That
term.
sounds healthy. You know what's sad is that's actually one of the healthier things in this book, like mentally healthy. Not even close to the worst.
True.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
all so crazy.
It's a really great book club book. Good pick,
You guys-
Andrea. Although throughout it, I feel like we're all like, what the fuck are we reading? It was great.